Hey, what is up, guys? It is your boy Kingdom Soldier, and I'm back again with another commentary. Welcome to The Kingdom Story episode 7. If you've never seen this series, you need to go watch 1 through 6. I know that sounds like a lot, like you're gonna go watch 6 videos really, but it'll help you understand where I'm coming from when I'm talking today. And for those that are asking, the 12 on my hat is for the 12th man, Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks, you know, mania is crazy around here, and I had to wear something red to an event I went to last Saturday, and I picked up this hat from a gas station. It was a 12th man hat, so I'm technically not a Seahawks fan, but when they're winning and doing what they're doing right now, you know, I get kind of excited just like everybody else, because my whole family and friends and everybody's like, go Seahawks, and I'm like, alright, go Seahawks. So you can call me a fair weather fan or whatever, but low-key I'm a closet Raiders fan. So in the last episode we left off with me. I was about to tell you guys what happened with me and leaving California. You know, I had been arrested multiple times. I had been charged with 6 counts, and the judge basically said you can stay in California and be on probation until you're 18, then we'll review for parole. No matter what, you're gonna have to do 96 hours of community service, or you can leave the state, we'll seal your record, and when you're 18 it'll be completely expunged. And so my mom didn't know exactly what we wanted to do, because simultaneously I was being told by my school that they were going to send me to remedial school, where you go for 2 hours a day with all the gang members and pregnant teens, and you go for 2 hours a day and you get a GED, not a diploma. And that's where the school wanted to tell me. Basically, the principal said to my face and my mom's face, we both know that Anthony is going to be nothing and do nothing with his life. And so that was a frustrating conversation, really hit me to the core. So what happened basically is, while we were deciding, I started doing community service. I got my braids for the first time. I used to have braids down to my ear. Like, if you guys have heard of Bone Thugs and Harmony, like Busy Bone had this big fro. Like, that's how my hair was. It was just out, you know, in a big fro, and so I had it all braided up, and I was going to community service every weekend, you know, covering over spray paint, picking up trash on the freeway, whatever they made me do. I traveled with a pack of other troublemakers, and we had to clean stuff up. And my mom sent me to summer school. You know, she's like, well, show me what you can do this summer, and maybe we'll keep you here. Maybe it'll prove to the principal that you should stay in regular school. And I was like, okay. So I took the check from my mom for me. My brother had a separate check. I took the check from my mom for me. I ripped it up and threw it in the garbage. And I woke up every single day at 6 o'clock in the morning, and would leave with my brother with a backpack on with nothing in it, and I would hang out with Bebe for 5-6 hours a day, and then I would come home at the same time as my brother, and then I would go back out and play. And I did this for like 3 weeks, and no one knew. You know, of course my brother knew I wasn't in school, and no one knew about it, but none of my friends, nobody really knew about it. And I was hanging out with Bebe every day. And so my mom, one day, I didn't know, her car wouldn't start, so she took the bus to work. And when she took the bus to work, she was on the street, and she looked over towards Ralph's and Vaughn's and Lucky's, these like grocery stores, and saw me and Bebe walking down the street while I should have been in school. So when she got home, or when she got home that night, I got home from playing basketball or something, she called me upstairs. She said, Anthony! Yeah, what's up, Mom? So, how was school today? Oh, man, you know, school was really good. Math is, you know, pretty easy for me because I'm good at math, but English, yeah, English has been pretty rough. I don't know, you know, how good I'm going to do in that class. I may be able to get a B. My mom looks at me and she's like, I called the school today. I was like, I'm sorry. What did you do with my check? I threw it in the garbage. Okay, you're going to Tacoma. Okay. And I left the room. Now, I thought that my mom was joking. I thought that she was tripping. I thought that she was just, you know, just joking around, playing around. And so I kind of just walked away with the confidence that I was going to still be in Cali. I went and hung out with my friends. She didn't ground me or nothing. 6 days later, on the 13th of July, the last time your boy Kingdom Soldier would ever be in California. 1996. I got on a plane and left California forever. And I came up here to Tacoma, Washington. I'm not in Tacoma right now, but I came up to Tacoma, Washington, which I thought was lame. I was like, this is the lamest thing ever. And when I came up to Tacoma, Washington, I thought I was so hard. I put on all my colors, which was green at the time, was my gang color. I put on all green. I'm talking about green laces in my white shoes, green shorts. You know, now remember, this is the late 90s. This stuff was cool. Green shorts, a green shirt, and I put a green rag on my head and tied it up, and I went to the most dangerous neighborhood in pretty much Washington called the Hilltop in Tacoma, and I just strolled around looking for trouble. And if anybody looked at me, I just looked back at them like with a mean face, like I was hard or something, you know. And so, not forgetting the fact that I was by myself. I didn't even think about it, you know, by myself. If I roll up on 4 people, I'll be in trouble. I didn't have no gun. I didn't even have a weapon on me. But I just rolled around, and that was how I met actually my first girlfriend, was this girl who was like, "Where are you from?" And I was like, "West Side BDC." I thought she was hitting me up, you know what I'm saying? Because "where you from" was the statement that people would ask in Cali to figure out, like, what gang are you in or whatever, what set you repping. And so she was like, "No, where are you from?" And she was like, "I can know you're not from around here." And I was like, "Oh, I'm from California. You know, I just came up here from Southern California, and I just moved here." And it was the summer, you know, school hadn't started. And she was like, "Oh, well, my name's Kalia." She wrote down her number, gave it to me. Me and her talked for a minute, but, you know, it wasn't nothing serious. We talked up until school started, and then she went to a different school and all that kind of stuff. And then slowly but surely, my uncle, who I went to live with, changed my life. And he did 3 things. The first thing he did was that he gave me incentives for school. And so he was like, "Look, there's a Janet Jackson Blackout or Panther. It was Black Panther. Was it Black Panther? Black Cat. There's a Janet Jackson Black Cat concert that is coming into town in about 3 or 4 months. If you get all B's, I will let you go to that concert." And I was like, all B's? I've never gotten all B's. I was like, most I've gotten is 1 B and an A in PE. I was like, I don't get all B's. I left California with a 1.27 GPA. 1.27. I did about a year of high school, barely, in 2 years. And my uncle dared me to get a B average. And I was like, okay, you know, all right. You know, I mean, this was 1996. And I was a 15-year-old boy about to be 16. Getting to go see Janet Jackson was a big deal. And so I wanted to go see her. And so he bought the tickets and put 2 of them on my door. Told me I could take whoever I wanted. Put the 2 tickets on my door of my bedroom. And so I would literally come home every day. And when I was going to drop off my backpack to go hang out, play basketball, I would see the tickets. And it made me think I should probably do my homework first. And it actually started to slowly but surely change me. The second thing my uncle did was he gave me, or he forced me to go to church. My uncle didn't even go to church, but he knew that one of the things my mom was trying to do, even though she worked way too much to do this, one of the things my mom was trying to do was send us to church like every 5 minutes. Anytime the church was open, we were there doing something. And since my mom was leading the youth group, we were there all the time. And so my uncle said, "Here's a bus pass. You're going to go to church every Sunday, and you're going to go to choir rehearsal." And I was like, "But I can't sing." He was like, "You're going to choir rehearsal." So I joined the youth choir, which helped me make a lot of friends. And then I went to church on Sundays. Now, the thing that started to happen that I didn't even notice was that I started to identify with the Anthony that was part of the choir and went on Sundays. You know, a lot of the kids there, I met them. They were really nice. They liked me. We got along really well. And it was like I started to identify with these people more than I did with school, because school, number 1, hadn't really started yet because it was late summer, and number 2, I had no friends. I had no friends at school. This was a brand new environment for me. I was from California. I didn't know anybody at in high school where I went to high school. And so these dudes were like these dudes at church were pretty accepting of me. And so the last thing my uncle did is that he showed me an example. And this was the biggest thing that he did, and I think it's far too underestimated today on changing people's lives. But the biggest difference my uncle made in my life, who now I see as my dad. My kids call my uncle Grandpa because they don't know my dad. And all I knew from my dad, the only men that were in my life, was Bebe, the gang member, was a leader in my life, and my dad, who you know, cheated on my mom and beat his other wife, and then my stepdad, who got another woman pregnant while he was married to my mom and left the house as well. So that was what I knew. That's what a black man was to me. Then I came up here to Washington, and my uncle, who was one of the first 6 African-American students at Duke University when they forced integration, he was one of the first 6 African-American students at Duke at 16 years old because he was so smart he skipped 2 grades, graduated from Duke, went to law school here at UPS, very prestigious school here in Washington State, went to UPS and graduated with his law degree, and then went to be one of 3 African-American lawyers at his law firm in Seattle, Gordon Thomas, Honeywell, Malonka, Peterson, and Daheim. A big firm here in Seattle. And today, he is a Superior Court judge in Washington State. He has always set an example for me that my dreams are possible. And he is the #1 reason that what the principal said to me that day was shattered. I acted like it didn't matter, it didn't care when my principal told me that I was never going to be anything. But it mattered. It made a difference that he said something like that. But it wasn't until I saw the image of my uncle, who was married to the same woman for 20+ years, owned his own home, and as hard as he worked as a lawyer, came home every day, and me, him, his wife, and anybody else who was living in their house, because they always took care of extra people, whether it was in-laws, relatives, their parents. We always sat at the table and ate together. My uncle would make dinner. My uncle would do the dishes. He did chores. After working long, hard days, he showed me a different image of who I could be. And that was the biggest difference in my life. That was like the game changer in my life, was my uncle. And those 3 things really began a change in me to where I changed how I saw myself. When I looked in the mirror, I saw potential. I saw something. I saw what I had dreamed of. And when I was 15 years old, when me and my mom were on the way home from the courthouse, and she said, "What do you want to do with your life?" And I said, "I want to be a pastor, but all my friends will laugh at me, so I'll do that later in life after college or something." It was my uncle who really helped me to start believing that that kind of a life was possible for this young kid from California who had gotten arrested multiple times and didn't pay any attention in school and had a 1.27 GPA. He made me believe in myself. And so in the next episode, I'll tell you guys, because the funny thing is, the things you do as a young person now will impact your life later, regardless of how hard you try. If you eat McDonald's every single day, it is going to affect your cholesterol, your blood sugar, your blood pressure. It's going to affect your life later. You're not going to be as healthy later. If you make poor decisions, you know, with women, it's going to affect your life later. You make poor decisions with drugs, it's going to affect your life later. Poor decisions with school, it's going to affect your life later. And for me to graduate from high school and go to college was impossible. And I'll tell you guys in the next episode how in the world it actually happened. How I graduated on time, even though in 2 years of high school, I had enough credits for almost 1 year with a 1.27 GPA. I'll tell you guys how I got out of high school in time and how I went to a 4-year university. Doesn't make any sense. But I'll tell you guys about it in the next episode. This is your boy, Kingdom Soldier, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.